Hi everyone, this is Heather with the Potomac Bead Company. Today I'm going to show you how to make our long Maga-scale bracelet, but instead of using Magatamas, we're going to be using some Rizo beads. I'm going to make this bracelet primarily black. You can check out our other videos of the Maga-scale that we've used for my Yuki seed bead drops, as well as our long Magatamas. And this version is going to be with using Rizo beads. So what you'll need for this project is some beading thread, probably 0.006 inch wildfire or fireline thread, that's fine. You'll also need maybe about 15 grams of 6/0 seed beads, and you'll need maybe a couple grams of 11/0s or 8/0s. I'm going to use 11/0s for this project because our Rizos are so tiny and delicate. And I'm going to use 3 different colors of our Rizo beads. I'm going to use you'll probably use 5 grams of each, maybe even less, but I'm going to use hematite, the color hematite, some silver, and our jet black color. So once you've gotten your supplies ready, I'm going to show you how to start our peyote stitch. So that's probably what you're going to do first because it is a peyote stitch base. And our embellishments are going to be our Rizo beads. So once you've thread your needle and you've put your stop bead on, go ahead and put 6 of your 6/0 seed beads on your thread. Now I'm going to make this bracelet 6 inches wide just because you can make it a little bit wider if you want. It all depends on how thin your wrist is or what kind of statement you're making. So I'm going to make this 6 rows wide, or 6 beads wide. So string 6 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to do a peyote stitch. Pick up a 6/0 bead, take your needle down skip the first one in line and take it down through the second bead. Now, if you're not familiar with peyote stitch, you can definitely stop the video now and watch a course that we have or a video that we have on peyote stitch. That way it'll be a little bit easier for you to understand. Pick up another 6/0, skip this next bead in line and take it through the 4th bead. And this is an even count peyote stitch, in case I didn't mention that. Pick up another 6/0, skip the 5th one, and take your needle down through the last bead, which is bead 6. Pick up a seed bead, 6/0, take it through the seed bead kind of jutting out, and you're going to finish this row. And I'm going to show you a variation of a fast peyote stitch. Now that you've got a couple of rows of 6/0s of peyote stitch, I'm going to show you a faster approach. Pick up 6 of your 6/0s. Take your needle up through on the opposite end, take it up through the last bead so that your beads kind of lay like this. What you're going to do is, so you can see it better, you're going to skip the seed bead that's in place, or the last seed bead, and take your needle through the second seed bead. Just like so. So it's going to look like that. And then what you're going to do is take your needle up through the 3rd seed bead already in your stitch. And then you're going to pull. And when you pull, what you'll see is it kind of brings that bead into place. So you're going to skip the seed bead, the next seed bead in that thread. Take your needle up through the 4th bead. Just like that. And to get it in place, what you're going to do is take your needle up through the 5th seed bead that's on your project already. And it just brings it in place, just like that. Then you're going to take your needle up through the last seed bead, the last 6/0. Just like that. So I'll do it one more time. Add 6 seed beads on to your needle. Take your needle up through that last seed bead on the other side of your project. Skip the first seed bead. Take your needle up through the second. And take your needle up through the third seed bead that's already in your project. Skip the third seed bead here. Take your needle up through the fourth. Then take your needle up through the fifth seed bead on your project that's in that line formation. Skip the fifth seed bead here on your right side. Take your needle up through the sixth. Now we do have a video that shows you, or a tutorial that shows you how to do the fast peyote stitch. And then you're going to continue your even count peyote stitch until you've reached your desired length of your bracelet. Okay, now that you've completed your even count flat peyote stitch and you've achieved the length of the bracelet that you want, I'm going to show you how to do the embellishment portion. I'm going to show you a bracelet that we did do with using our Rizo beads, and here it is. As you can see, here is our peyote stitch embellishment, or our peyote stitch, and this is 6 rows wide. And then I just kind of strung through each bead, each 6-0 bead, our Rizo beads, and I used 2 different kind of Rizos here. So just take into account that this was just kind of like at random, and that's what I'm going to do with the Rizos that I have up here. It's a very fun bracelet. So now that I've done our base, go ahead and you're actually going to take your needle off of the thread that's remaining on your bracelet. You can tie it off if you want. I like to leave mine loose because or kind of open, because this is what I'm going to use for my clasp or my toggle. So go ahead and string on. You want about 3 feet of thread, and then string that onto your needle. And what you're going to do is take your needle. You're going to start at the very beginning of your bracelet, and you're going to take your needle up through that first bead in place. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make a half hitch knot. In order to do that, you're going to take your needle, slide it underneath the thread, pull the thread, and then take your needle through the small little hole or the circle that you've made to create a knot. And then you're going to pull the knot close down onto your thread that's in between these 2 beads. And it pretty much just kind of secures your thread so that it's not going to slide everywhere. So right now it kind of acts as a stop bead. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread my needle through these beads, through my peyote stitch here, because I want to start adding my embellishments at the top of this bracelet. So now that I'm up at the top row, at this point you're going to, excuse me, at this point you're going to add on your 11-0 seed bead to your needle. And then you're going to add on a Rizo bead. And what you're going to do is take your needle down. You're not going to take your needle to this bead here. You're not going to take your needle down this bead. You're actually going to go to the next row over, which is this row right here. This is our 3rd row. So here's your 1st row, your 2nd row, and your 3rd row. So we're going to take our needle down through the 2nd row of peyote stitch. And then you're going to pull. The reason why I added an 11-0, we can actually add an 8-0 instead, is because this 11-0 is just kind of hiding that thread, so it's not going to be as apparent when you're done with your project. So now I'm going to pick up another Rizo bead, and I'm just kind of doing like a random, I'm really just picking up at random. I don't have a pattern. I don't have, it's just going to be a random colors. So I'm going to pick up another Rizo, and then I'm going to take my needle back down through the next Rizo and through the next seed bead in line in our column, and you're going to pull just like that. And the Rizos are just going to stand up on edge like that. I'm going to pick up another Rizo, and I'm going to take our needle down through the very last seed bead of that column. And I'm going to pull. So we've just completed our first column of our Rizos, of our embellishment. Now that we've come to the edge, at this point I'm going to pick up an 11-0 seed bead, and then I'm going to pick up another Rizo. And instead of taking my needle up through this seed bead here on the end, I'm actually going to take it to the next column, which is right here. You're going to pull. And then I'm going to pick up another Rizo, and I'm going to take it through the next seed bead in that same column. And you want to pull nice and tight so that they are sitting kind of straight up. Pick up another Rizo and take it through the last 6-0 in the column. And pull. And now that we've gotten to the edge of our bracelet up here, this is when I'm going to add an 11-0 seed bead and another of my Rizo beads. And then I'm going to take my needle down the seed bead in the column to my right. And I'm going to pull. And then I'm going to pick up another Rizo, and take it down the next 6-0 here in this column. So you're going to continue this pattern until you've completed your entire bracelet. Okay, so now that you've completed adding your embellishments for your Rizo beads and your 11-0s on the side, you're almost done with your bracelet. So what you need to do now is you're going to take your needle off of the thread that you've been using for your embellishments once you've tied it off. And you can tie it off by running your thread around the peyote stitch a few times and creating some half-hitch knots. And after you've done that, you're going to take the thread that you used for your peyote stitch, and I'm going to flip it around so it's easier for everybody to see. And at this point, what you're going to do is put the needle back onto that thread, and you're going to add your toggle and clasp. So, and I'm going to use just plain pewter size small toggle and clasp here. And what you're going to do is take your needle and thread and kind of stitch through your peyote stitch and bring it back up to about here, the middle bead, 6-0. You're going to add 6 or 7 beads, your 11-0s, 7 11-0 beads, your toggle, and then go back down those 7 beads, and then take your needle back up through these 2 6-0s, and then just kind of weave around. And that's how you're going to add your toggle and your clasp. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side on the other end. You're going to take your stop bead off and then do the same thing. If you'd rather not use a toggle and clasp, like I'm going to do for this one, the Rizo beads that I have here in the blue and black, I actually kind of used my own variation of a toggle and a clasp. I used a 6mm round black bead, and I actually used the 6-0 seed beads that I had for this project. And then I created my own clasp by stringing on a couple of seed beads to make my own clasp for this project. So this is a lot of fun, and I don't know if you can see the black very well, my black Rizo beads, but like I said, I just kind of strung them on, weave them through my peyote stitch at random order. I didn't really have a pattern, but if you guys, if anybody wants to do a pattern to create something out of it, have fun with that. But this was just a really fun bracelet just to get a little wild and crazy. Hope we see you at the store one day, and maybe we can do more hands-on bracelet works with you, more seed beading works in person. And if not, please view the rest of our tutorials on YouTube and check us out on Facebook, and we're also on Twitter. So thanks a lot for watching this video.